pressure cookers, slow cookers, smoking them. There's many ways that you can keep this meat tender. It's a shame to waste any bit of the bird, especially when you learn how to cook it. You get so much more. We actually made soup out of the last one that we got, put it in a crock pot, cooked it for a few hours, meat fell right off the bone. One question that I've heard a couple guys ask, how long can you leave it before you get to processing it? I, on multiple occasions, as long as it doesn't get too hot and it stays out of the sun, I got no problem getting one in the morning, and then after 12 or whenever you get back, like this is now 1, we killed it probably around 8:30. And there are occasions where I'll get one before work, after 3:30, when I get home around 4, I got it in a nice cool barn, I'll do them up, never had a problem. I like to take the beard, hold it, I pull both directions, one towards the bird, and it comes off just like that. Another thing that people like to keep on these birds is the spurs. It helps with the process. I usually take the leg like such and I'll put upward pressure on it and I'll find that joint. I'll separate the skin, open it up, cut that joint, and your leg comes right off. Most hunters like to keep their fan. This is stuff I take before I even get into the bird. You'll see this joint back here. It's the end of the tail. If you just take your knife and run it down till it meets the other side, a little pressure, use the weight of the bird to help you out, and it'll come right off. Then you can display your fan. Now that you've taken your sentimental parts off the bird that you can use for a display, time to get what's really important, the bounty, the harvest. So I just find that breastbone, expose the skin, and then I take my knife and I just make a real small incision. I don't go too deep, I just go underneath the skin and then just pull it away, and it'll take that skin right off the bird. Pull it down as far as you can get it. Try to keep most of the feathers together. It'll just make your area a little cleaner when you're done. You won't have so many loose feathers. I also try to expose these legs the best I can, because we'll be taking those as well. I take the crop and I just work my fingers down. You can take your knife a little bit and get it started if you have to. This is the crop on the bird. You just work the fingers and pull a little bit, and it's going to separate this crop from the breast. Try not to rip it because there is stomach matter in there. Now that you got the breast exposed, you can kind of see where it comes together. You can trim that up a little bit. Take your knife and I try to meet that breastbone just like that. Once I get to the bone, I keep my knife a little bit of pressure against the bone, but not into the bone, or else it'll dull your knife. And there's a tender in here that is not connected to the breast. I try not to cut into that. I try to release the breast off the tender and run it all the way down to the end of the thoracic cavity. A lot of it will just pull apart. Use your knife as a guide. So once I have this tender exposed, I'll go back to the breastbone and I'll run my knife and I'll just keep pressure on it into that breastbone, and it'll, for the most part, separate using just your fingers. And I'll run it down until it's clean off the bone. Once you got it separated from the bone, you come up towards the underside of the wing and you cut that thick tendon and it'll free it up. And then you can grab it and pull it right out. And that's a perfect turkey tender. Underneath that wing, I run my knife up till I meet the end of the breast. I'll come back here to the back and I'll run my knife along that breastbone again. Try to get it as tight as you can. You want to get it as tightly to the bone as possible. There are some smaller tendons in there and some less desirable meat. But as long as you keep pressure, a pulling pressure on the breast, and you work your knife down to underneath the wing, that breast, there'll be a big tendon. That lets you know you're getting towards the end of the breast, towards the front of the bird. Until that breast comes right out. So that's your turkey's breast. While you got the bird on this side, take your knife, just follow that skin that you pulled down the leg best you can. Try to free it up. If you put pressure with your thumb and just pull lightly, that skin with the feathers attached will pretty much come right off. Now that we got the turkey leg and thigh exposed, you can put pressure down and it will take that bone out of the socket. You can kind of see how that worked. You run your knife down the edge of the turkey skeletal. You can separate that joint the best you can. Try to keep your feathers out of it the best you can. A lot of it's all pressure. After that joint's separated, it's really just muscle that holds everything together. Just separate it with your knife. Flip them over, repeat the process. Okay, now that you got the other side out, one last thing that you can utilize on the bird. This one's full. Stinky. Turkey gizzard. Turkey liver. Last but not least, comes right out, the heart. He was kind of off the roost, so he really didn't have time to forage too much this morning. He was more interested in finding a mate, but you can see there's these little seeds and little sprouts. If you can identify the seed, you can identify the plant or tree. That can give you a good idea where to start tomorrow. That's kind of our turkey processing video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully Luke can dumb it down a bit and make it, what, 3 minutes? You can just like fast forward.
Snood.